certain instruments have songs in them already when they get them, you know, certain songs or pieces of music are already present in the instrument and they're just waiting to come out, you know. So, yeah. When you sing and play, it helps with the resonance of your voice to have that instrument there sort of, you know, helping you to project the sound, like the chord supports you as you play. So, yeah, it's a really good thing when you... I spend a minimum of, the time process is about 6 weeks, minimum of 6 weeks to make an instrument. But I won't do a whole instrument in one, you know, go from start to finish. I'm usually working on a few things. So I'll make about 5 or 6 new instruments a year, in a year. I'd like to make more, but that's seems to be about what I can do. And then, yeah, so that time process in terms of when someone comes to me and asks me to make something usually takes me about a year. So, because I'm repairing things as well. And the connection with the Melbourne music as well, you know, that's the people that I know and the music, and I'm always, so I have to do that. It's part of the deal, I reckon, you know, because I live here in Northcote and there's 1,000 guitar players within 2 miles of me. You sort of start, you know, playing music, and then that becomes an extension of playing music, making music. It's like, you know, and it's that spark of inspiration came at a festival, and someone was sitting next to me in a session playing a beautiful handmade guitar, and I said, wow, you know, where did you get that guitar from? Expecting him to say it was X, Y and Z factory-made guitar. And he said, oh, this is made by Joe Gallagher in Albury, you know. And that just, a light just went on in my head. Wow, one person made that guitar for you, you know. And it was a revelation. It was like a, you know, the moment. I was living in New South Wales in the bush on a rural property, and I had a bit of time on my hands. So I started, you know, trying to make instruments, and made various tuned instruments first, marimbas and things like that, and then eventually went on to make a mandolin, the first instrument I made. I wanted to go further with it, you know. I knew straight away, okay, this is what I want to do. So yeah, it sort of took me overseas to study a bit more, and I studied for 3 years in Manchester. And it was a beautiful course as well, with great craftspeople, you know. To get access to that level of knowledge was amazing, you know. It's just could take you to where I wanted to go with it, basically. Intuition is the thing that, you know, I sort of worked out that is that final thing. Like, you can have all the technical skills and everything worked out, but it's that intuitive kind of process of that's what makes it a great instrument. It's just, you know, everything comes together. So naturally the bigger instruments are bassier, and the smaller instruments have a more pronounced treble. And you sort of work out where you want to be in terms of that size range. And that colours the sound the most of any one particular part of it. But then you complement that idea with the wood, so it gets a bit like a recipe. So you start adding a rosewood, which is like a really dense material that has a lot of overtone content, and it's, you know, a rich sound, and it sort of almost amplifies the fundamental pitches in a reverberant way, so it has a natural reverb. You know, you can use that to colour the sound a lot and shape the voice of the instrument. The best thing that you can focus on as a maker is to make the instruments respond, you know. That's getting them to sing, you know, making them really light. So you can go that extra mile. You can, you know, spend more time on really getting the instrument to work as a whole entity, you know. Whereas in a factory, they'll just make the separate parts and slap it together and hope for the best, you know. So you can take it that step further with the tuning the individual parts so that they work as one. So, and yeah, if you spend the time, you know, you get rewarded for that, I think. Yeah, but the individuality is the kind of the next level. That's, you know, that's where it's at. It's an individual instrument made, you know, by an individual person, hopefully for an individual person. That's the kind of then it starts to become a process. It's like making paintbrushes for Rembrandt or something like that. It's like, you know, and then yeah, you know, then you see what they do with it. They take it on and it has another life again. It goes out on the road, on tour, it gets played on the street, it gets played at open studio, it gets recorded. Yeah, a lot of my customers I did repair work for before, so I fixed their instruments first, and I get to know through that the kind of instruments that they play and the kind of music that they make, and you know what is important to them. So that helps. That develops a long-term relationship. They've been the most successful projects for sure, because then I actually know them on another level. They're often friends by that point as well. You know. But also you spend a lot of time talking to the wood, you know. You have a lot of conversations with the actual timber. So, you know, you're trying to make the wood sing, you know. You're trying to work out what it wants to be, you know. Work out where its stresses are and where its strengths are, you know. Whether it's light and fast or whether it's slow and deep, you know. And then match that to what you want it to be. So there's that constant kind of process of adjustment in your own mind. So if you have I'm a firm believer, if you've got the good intentions when you're making, then that feeds into what you are making, you know, ultimately. Yeah, and that's true of like gardening as well. And I still think of wood, even though it's now become another form, you know, it's still an organic process, part of an organic process. Yeah, these are all things that were once alive, so the soul of those things can be present in the instrument to my way of thinking too. So, and that's across traditional cultures. It's a really common thing that the birth of a musical instrument would always involve the death of an animal, you know, and they would sort of see it totemically speaking that animal was then in that instrument. And then there's always that surprise, you know. Surprise is part of the fun too, because wood still surprises you, and what people do with the instrument that you make for them still surprises you. So even though you might have thought it's going to be one particular way, what they end up doing with it is something completely different. So.